So here we are at Masada, a very special place for the people of Israel, the modern people of Israel, and historically, the rebels who fought against the Roman occupation of Palestine or Israel, back in AD 70. So after the destruction of the temple in AD 70, the last band of rebels that were fighting against Roman occupation came here to Masada. And here, I don't know if you can just see it, but just in the background over there, I think you can see. So this is the site of the Roman 10th Legion that came here to besiege the rebels. And then here, right underneath me, you can see that ramp, this little ramp that the Romans built. So day by day, they built a little bit more of the ramp until eventually, at this site here where I'm standing, they broke through, intending to kill the remainder of the rebels, only to find that all of the rebels had committed suicide. The legend goes, according to the records of the speech of the leader of the rebels, that they had to choose between life as a slave or a free death, if you want to call it that. So it's an amazing place here. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. Very hot, but very arid. You can imagine King Herod coming here. He's the one who built the palaces in the north end here, the North Palace at Masada. You can imagine him coming here. They had a water system that could collect water from the hills over here, the hills up here. When the rains in winter would come, they would route the water in channels down to the mountain near Masada, and they would store 40,000 cubic meters of water in cisterns and different troughs and basins here. The books of Josephus Flavius, one of the historians of the time, talks about there being tremendous soil here on the top of Masada as well. So here now you can just see it's just ruins and barrenness. It's like a place of death and ghosts. But back then there would have been a palace, there would have been water, tremendous mosaics everywhere. You'd have had grass here and growing things, and what a pleasant place to be. And then, of course, Herod died. The Romans sort of crushed the uprising. At AD 70 or so, the temple was destroyed, and it wasn't until relatively recently, that people rediscovered Masada and started excavating it to see what secrets it could tell. Walking through the Western Palace now, and it's an eerie place. I don't know why, but there's no one here today. I don't know any reason for that. It's not too hot. It is the weekend, so normally there are lots of tourists here, lots of people. But there's only me and my two colleagues here today, and there's nothing else. And it's an eerie place. It's nice to be able to walk around on your own and maybe experience something of the spirit of the place. But you imagine it here, you imagine it as a palace, and then you imagine it as the last stronghold of the rebels, and how they must have felt. They're here, they think they're safe, or maybe they think they're safe, and then, they see the 10th Legion coming, 5,000 men and all the associated paraphernalia that came with it, camping in full view just over the cliff there, building a wall around the whole mountain of Masada, so they couldn't escape, and then just day by day getting closer, building that ramp, knowing that the doom was upon them. It wasn't just fighting men here, it was men, women, children. And as I said, in the end, when the Romans broke through, they just found them dead, other than I think it was a couple of ladies and some children. But it's a very special place. So over there in the blue, you see the water there? With a very iridescent blue, almost white in some places. So this is the Dead Sea. On the southern end of the Dead Sea, they have these salt pans where they harvest the salt on an industrial scale. Sell it around the world. It's good for your skin. The mud that they dredge up from the base of the sea is meant to be good for your skin and all manner of ailments. And then if we look further to the north, you've got the Dead Sea proper. So later on today, we may be having a little dip in that, floating, reading the newspaper as you do. You follow that further up, then you've got the Jordan River, the Sea of Galilee, and then even further up you've got Syria. But right now down here, over to the west over there. So you see those hills in the background? That's Jordan, the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan. So I think Masada is probably one of my favourite places in Israel. Sitting here right now, there's no one around and it's deadly quiet. You know, there's a little bit of a breeze. You can see the flag in the background fluttering. Nice on cue, the flag flutters. And just over there I can hear the hum of an aeroplane that's taking off from the airfield down here. Occasionally some parachutists pop out of it. What a great day to be skydiving. But apart from that, there's the occasional bird call. Other than that, silence. Listen. It's very rare in modern life that you can find somewhere where you have quiet, genuine quiet. Here in Masada, you know, we're deep in the desert. We're several hundred feet below sea level. And it's a scene of tragedy, you know. It's a scene of majesty, Herod's palaces. It's a scene of tragedy. You know, some would say heroism, freedom fighters. You know, the might of the Roman Empire crushing a rebellion. And you can feel some of that here, I think, you know. This is also the place where some of the Israeli army units, I understand, take their oaths or their passing out parade or what have you. But it's a great place for contemplation. It really is. And I think on balance, yeah, it's probably one of my favourite places in Israel. Here we have the two Freightliners coming into dock. Oh, fuck, Any children watching, please disregard the "oh fuck, that's my arse." I think it's fair to say the good ship John, HMS John, has run aground. I think he's got a bit of a ruptured anus. Oh. I'm just pleased you boys didn't have a camera when I tried getting out. Do you want a hand, Gary? Bit sharp. It's not like this in the movies, boys.
You know when you see the Navy SEALs gone.